Hey, my name's Ash T, and on this episode of The Dropouts, I have my good friend Crystal Lee. Now, I met Crystal Lee at a pre-Emmy party. She was wearing an Indian sari, and I just had to come up to her and be like, what are you doing? Why are you wearing that? That's so cool. And so as I started to learn more about her, she was in the military, and then she quit that to become a voiceover artist. So today, I'm very happy to have Crystal Lee here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. Does that kind of summarize how we met?
Yeah, it was perfect.
Okay. All right. Where were you born, Crystal?
I was actually born right outside of Washington, D.C. in Fort Washington, Maryland.
Okay. And what was your family upbringing like? What did your parents do? How was your socioeconomic status as a kid?
Oh, I was middle class.
Okay. You can already tell she's a voiceover artist. She's already got all these voices. This is going to be an interesting episode.
Yes, all of the personalities are going to come out.
Get all the personality out.
Hear them all.
Yeah, I want to hear all the schizophrenic voices you have.
I was going to say, that's part of my act. Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome.
No, my mom was in the local government, and my dad, he worked at the power plant. He was a mechanic, auto mechanic.
Okay. All right. And what were their values instilled in you? What did they have dreams for you that conflicted with your actual dreams?
Oh, they didn't. The only dream they had I'm the oldest of two.
Okay.
I have a little sister. But my parents, the only dream that they had for us, or the only thing that they wanted us to be, was successful in whatever way that is, whatever success meant to us. And they made sure that we were involved in multiple activities and, multiple clubs, just to make sure that we knew what we liked and what we, to experience what we would like and what we didn't like.
Oh, so if you wanted to be an actor, then they'd be like, okay, cool. We're good with that.
Yeah. Well, actually, my parents put us in theater arts day camp.
Oh.
And we were always involved with like the drama clubs at school and the, the little elementary school plays.
Yeah, for sure.
So we were always involved with some sort of performing arts. I'm half Filipino, and my dad is German and English. And I was involved in Filipino folk dancing, hula dancing, Tahitian dancing, and my dad had me in martial arts, like different types of martial arts.
So you got a very broad upbringing.
Yes.
And for them, that was like thinking, hey, maybe you'll find your whatever it is you want to do if you do many different things.
Yeah, they just wanted to make sure that we were ready for, whatever we wanted to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your earliest memory, do you know like what you wanted to be, or did it change over time? Like how was that like?
Oh man. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to be. I did know that I wanted to travel.
Okay.
So I remember being a little kid, I think I was like 6, and thinking, I want to go to Italy or something. Some really random thing that a 6-year-old you wouldn't think would, think about.
It's probably because, you're in America and you've got German and Philippine parents. And you're like, I want to go visit those two countries.
Yeah, maybe.
So you have a passion for traveling. That's where everything started.
I did, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all you do.
Yeah.
And then you decided one day, in the military, I can travel a lot.
Actually, that's a funny story.
Yeah, tell us how you got into the military.
So it was a month before my high school graduation, and I started cooking dinner. Like normally my dad, he would cook dinner. So I did it that night. And my dad comes up to me and he says, hey, have you ever thought about joining the military? And my mom's grandfather was a chef in the White House for 5 presidents. And then my dad's stepdad was a flight attendant on Air Force One. So I come from a very heavy military background.
Okay, I was going to say, anyway. That's a little unusual.
Yeah.
My parents were against me joining the military. So whatever you do, don't join the military because then they own you.
Oh, and they do.
Yeah.
There are so many rules. But yeah, it was a month before I graduated high school. Dad comes up and he's like, have you ever thought of joining the Air Force specifically? And I said no, because I had a partial scholarship for physical therapy. I was going to be a physical therapist. And then our neighbors, they were E9s in the Air Force. One worked at the Pentagon. The other worked for OSI. It's Office of Special Investigation. It's like the internal affairs of the Air Force.
Very cool.
So they came over, they spoke with me about it, and
it influenced you.
yeah, I was like, that's kind of cool. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I was 17 years old, and they were like, yeah, you know, if you join the Air Force now, you can retire at 37. And I was like, ooh.
So you heard those. You heard those bells. You're like, okay, I want to retire early and I want to travel. Those were the two things that drove your desire to go into the military.
Well, that and, you know, I wanted to do something a little bit bigger than myself, too. So, you know, there was that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, 3
It's hard to decide at 17. Like, we don't really know what we want to do.
No, and I think that was the other good thing, too, is, you know, there are so many benefits to joining the military. You get medical and dental for the rest of your life. You get
Wow.
education.
Can I go back to the military and
How old are you?
over 40?
Me too. It's cool. For you out there in internet land,
Yeah.
I'm 42 at this
Yeah.
interview, during this interview.
I'm older than that. So
Well, you look great.
thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. You too.
Thank you. So, yeah, 3 days after graduation, I was in basic training and turned 18 when I was in basic. So,
I guess it sounds to me like your life was maybe influenced by the desire to maybe retire early. Does that sound right? Or
No, I think-
maybe it was their conversation with you
I
that
think-
influenced you?
I think it was just a multitude of things. It was, you know, the being set up for my future. So basically, that was
Yes.
kind of in my plan. Is I wanted to make sure that I could do anything I wanted to after the military, because 37 is relatively young.
And because you weren't sure what you wanted to do after the military, you just knew that there may
Right.
be something. There was no desire to be a voiceover artist when you were young. You never thought about that.
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did
I
think
did.
about
I
it.
didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know it was called voiceover, but
Yeah, what excited you in life
Oh.
before that time?
I would say just all the creative arts, drawing, dancing, singing. My mom.
You love to do everything creative, but
Yeah.
you never thought once at that point, I can make money from this.
No. No,
Mm.
but I did have a very entrepreneurial mind when I was growing up. My mom, she took a trip. This is just an example. I did a whole bunch of stuff, but my mom went to Europe and she brought back special Kit Kats because, you know, the chocolate over in Europe tastes different. So I took
I didn't know that.
Oh, sorry.
I know they have vegan Kit Kats now in England.
Well, the chocolate in Europe is processed differently than it is in America, and it's delicious. So my mom brings back this candy, and instead of eating it, I sold it at school.
I did that too.
Yeah, because I was like, ooh, a business opportunity.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had a very entrepreneurial mind growing up, and I knew that I wanted to do something different, and, you know, especially after being in the military and having to take orders for the last over 20 years, I was ready to, you know, call my own shots and make my own schedule and do what I wanted to do.
Okay, well, let's start with the military. You joined the Air Force, right?
Yeah.
At 18.
17.
17. Do you have to go to college, and are you?
I did go to college.
Oh, you did go to
inside,
college.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my first.
It's-
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because I don't know this world very well.
Oh,
So
when you join the military, Air Force particularly, I believe the other services are very similar, but you go in, you go through basic training, and then you go to technical training where they teach you how to do the job that they've selected for you.
okay.
Before you do anything, you take this thing called the ASVAB. It's basically a test that will test you on like different areas, you know, that they can place you in. There's the admin section. There's, you know, mechanics. There's like 2 other things. I know there's admin, mechanics, and like 2 other things. So they test, you know, to see what you're good in, and then they place you depending on your test scores.
They place you in a specific school in the U.S.?
They place you in a specific job for the military.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I tested and I got military intelligence. So I was a SIGINT analyst for the first 4 years of my time in the military. It's all like the, you know, intel stuff. And
Was there a school that you went to? Was like
There-
what is
yeah.
it called?
It was just SIGINT training, SIGINT analysis training.
So there's no university. It's not like the Naval Academy or something like that.
They do have the Air Force Academy.
And did you go to an Air Force Academy?
I didn't. I went straight in without going to school, without going to college.
You were so smart on the test. You scored so off the charts that they said, she doesn't need
oh
more school.
God, I wish.
Let's
no.
just put her to work.
No.
Okay.
There's two types of people that join. Well, there's multiple types, but you can either go in as enlisted.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're enlisted, they don't require a college degree. If you go in as an officer, it requires a college degree.
Okay.
And you can change when you're enlisted if you earn your degree or you get selected for officer training school, you can become an officer while you're in. It's very complicated.
It is. I've heard it's very regimented and very disciplined during school. Is that right?
It's all the time.
How did you feel about that?
I felt okay. Well, my mom, she was very strict with us growing up.
Oh, okay.
So it was.
So you're used to it.
Yeah, it was just like I was at home, except people were really yelling at me all the time instead of just sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Mom. You're great. I love you. She didn't yell at us all the time, but, it was strict,
Yeah.
So, and basically what they do in basic training is
And no more dancing, no more singing, no nothing while you're in the military.
No, that's not true. I did professional belly dancing about I think it was a little bit before my halfway mark.
Oh, there's time for that.
I made time.
Oh.
Yeah. If you want something bad enough, you're going to make time for it.
Oh, yeah.
And I always loved dancing. I started dancing when I was 3 years old. And I did Tahitian and hula, and I was looking for one of those. I was stationed in Italy at the time.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a hula or Tahitian dance troupe. So they had a belly dance class, and I took that, and I loved it, and I've been doing it ever since. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you have something to keep you sane while you're in the military, but you're in it for 20 years. So you finish school, and then where do you go? You're starting to travel a lot, right?
So I've moved over 20 times.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I did a lot of time overseas when I was in the military, and.
What are some of the places that you were?
Well, my first duty station was Alaska.
Oh,
and
interesting.
Then when I'm just going to go through the whole gamut. So
go.
if you want to cut this, you can. Here's the whole gamut. So it was Alaska, Idaho, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia. Actually, I think Saudi Arabia was before Kuwait. And then South Korea, Italy, New Mexico, Turkey, Bahrain, and then back to DC, like
So
the DC
you
area.
got your dream of traveling.
Oh, I sure did.
How many languages did you pick up?
I picked up a little bit of German and some Italian because I lived in Italy for 3 years, and then I lived in Germany for 2. But I lived in Germany after I retired because I got picked up as a government contractor. Then I was a GG-13. It's a civilian level. But I got picked up as a GG-13 for the Defense Intelligence Agency after, my contracting time.
So I've heard a lot of nightmare stories about military, but it sounds like you're completely fine. How did you like your 20 years of service?
Oh, I did. So it's.
Are you really okay, or are you not allowed to talk about it?
No, actually, I'll show you. Am I allowed to show these? So I have multiple scars.
Oh my Lord.
Because you said you're going to be a doctor. So I had.
I'm not going to be a doctor.
No.
Yeah.
I saw one of your other interviews, but how you were going to be a doctor. So I tore my labrum and my rotator cuff. I broke my face. Had surgery on both my knees.
They're really abusive in the military.
Well, it's hard work, and you have to keep up with all the guys.
Yeah. How do you get injured that much? What is that from? Training?
It's from training. It's from deployments.
It's like doing stunt work.
Kind of, except you could die from somebody's mortars, or
Wow.
I guess you could do that in stunt work too. But yeah, your cortisol levels are like pinging all the time because you're in really dangerous situations, And I did 20 years of it, and the majority of my time was, like I said, it was overseas, it was doing exercises, it was deploying or being TDY, and it was. It was tough, but I mean, now I'm doing, voiceover, and I'm in the entertainment business, and it's like great. Like
it's completely different.
It's
okay.
like,
So you're probably getting a lot of dancing opportunities in the military, overseas.
Overseas, yes.
You make time for arts in some way, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
When I was stationed in Turkey, I had an ongoing gig with one of the Turkish restaurants off base, and I did a lot of shows in New Mexico when I was living in New Mexico doing belly dancing. Yeah, now it's like.
So it wasn't like it wasn't terrible time in service.
No, and I really feel like. You
enjoyed it. I feel like I'm trying to push some kind of something here.
You
like
hated
you
it,
hated
right?
it, didn't you? Okay, you didn't hate it. You were okay. You were fine with doing your job. You didn't care what you were doing.
It was great. I mean,
but at a certain point, you decided you wanted to retire, right?
Yes.
What decision? Like you could have done it for the rest of your life, but what prompted you say I don't want to do this anymore?
I could have done it another, I think 5, and then if I got promoted again, I would have been 30 years. And I decided that, I'd already done my time and I was tired. I'd just, gosh.
A lot of physical injuries made you tired.
Lots of physical injuries, a lot of physical therapy. And I had, right before I...
Any real therapy, though, other than physical therapy? Mental therapy?
3 years for PTSD.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so I had 3 years of straight therapy, the last 3 years of my time in the service to, to help me be a normal person when I went into civilian life.
Holy cow.
And, it's not something, anyone who's dealt with trauma, it's not something that goes away. It's like every so often I'll have to go back and, get a checkup or get, reevaluated. And, it's forever, it's ongoing. And I really feel like being in the entertainment industry, it's a way for you to creatively deal with your trauma.
It is, but before we get into entertainment, how did you make that decision? You decide to retire, right? And when you're like coming up on that retirement mark, you probably thought about it like I've got 3 more years and then I'm done with service. Mm-hmm. And what was your thought process about what you're going to do next in life? How did that? I want to kind of understand, how did we get to voiceover?
Oh, it's very random.
Okay.
And you're going to be like, really? That was what,
yeah.
Really? That's what made you do it?
Are you worried about going into civilian life and be like, how am I going to, I've been doing this for 20 years, the military. Well, how am I going to it's like coming out of jail, right?
No, not necessarily. Okay. When you retire from the military, especially, I feel like I was very fortunate. I worked with a lot of civilians and contractors. And when you are about to retire, you work with all these people in contracting and, who are civilians. Sometimes there are jobs available with what you're doing at the moment. The jobs come available and you basically retire, and then you retire on Friday, and then Monday you go in as a contractor or you go in as a civilian, depending on, the time frame for when you're able to get hired. So I really wasn't worried about what I was going to do after I retired, because I did have people asking if I'd be interested in, being a part of their company.
Wow.
When I worked at the Defense Information Systems Agency, and while I was there, I created it was me and a team of folks, but we created a training program for their command center. So I have a lot of different skills that, I utilized while I was in to create these things. And a lot of people that were hiring were like, oh, you're a go-getter. I don't have to worry about you. I know if I give you a task, you'll be able to do it. So I really didn't have a problem, with finding a job afterwards. It's just the leap from I don't want to do this anymore to something totally different. That's when I was a little like, ooh, this will be interesting. This is kind of exciting.
A little bit of fear?
Anxiety. Yeah. I think there was a little anxiety, but,
Yeah, tell us how you got into this. What made you get into voiceover?
Well, I was living in Germany working for the Defense Intelligence Agency. And the agency is wonderful. I would never say anything bad about the people that I worked with, because all of them were absolutely wonderful.
You're a
people.
Very positive person, Crystal. You don't say anything bad about anybody. I'm always talking trash. That's on me.
Well, Ash, that could get you in trouble.
I know, it does.
But no, I mean, honestly, I'm being totally sincere. They are. Every single person that I met with, they were all wonderful people. And I think I was doing a job I wasn't really passionate about. And
what was that job?
It was
what were you doing?
Network architecture.
Okay.
So basically,
Like, this is boring.
it wasn't exciting.
Yeah.
People I worked with were exciting, but the job itself wasn't something I really wanted to do. So I ended up quitting, and I was just gonna write books and make YouTube videos for doing something creative. Because
had you been writing books at all?
No, I did write training
right, but nothing creative.
No, nothing creative.
Yeah.
Just like technical, operating manuals and, like the boring stuff.
Well, that's kind of a leap to be like, oh, I can write books and make YouTube video. You wanted to be a content creator?
As I was watching videos for how to make, good videos, all of these voiceover...
How to make good videos.
How to make videos good.
That's what we Google. How to make videos good.
All of these voiceover videos started popping up out of nowhere. And there was a coach on there. Her name is Gabrielle Nistico. And she just looked really cool and someone I would vibe with. So I gave her a call. I was living in Germany at the time. And
also, I should say this, you're probably set for life after 20 years in the military, right?
Oh, yeah. I have a retirement. I'm also a 100% disabled combat veteran. So I get disability and, medical, dental, vision.
So no debt, and you're going into this, and you're like, oh, well, now I can live my life.
Yeah, now I can really do something different and
Got
exciting.
It. Yeah.
So I ended up contacting her. She did an assessment, and that's how my journey started, really. Then it was like the floodgates opened. I started meeting people in the voiceover community. I hired an amazing marketing guy. His name is Corey Disson, Corey and Elaine Disson. They're wonderful, and they'd been working with people in the voiceover community for, I think, over 30 years. So after I got connected with Corey, it was like I was meeting all of these wonderful people in the voiceover community. And things weren't going so well in Germany, so I ended up getting a divorce, and I moved to LA, and now it's just like things have been popping off.
When did you move to LA?
September of last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And did your husband ever not like you doing voice, or is it like, we're all set for life, so it doesn't matter?
No, he and I just had different ideas of, what we thought success
retirement
was and
would be.
Well, he wasn't retired. He was a civilian. He was very, very good at what he did, very successful guy, very nice guy. We just, especially after I quit my job, it was one of those things where we didn't have really anything in common anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like we had the government. He liked video games. I liked voicing video games. And that's the other thing, too. Sometimes the voices I would make were, a little annoying, I guess.
Well, let's just hear some of these voices, because you're it's very fascinating to me because you're in this very rigid environment in the military. And then you go into voiceover artists where the creative right brain is let go and free. And let's hear some of your interesting voices. Just say, hi, my name is Crystal. Give us 4 or 5 different ones. Because I just want them to hear how cool this is.
Well, Ash, if you really wanted to know, here's a little bit of Lois Griffin. I see you guys laughing over there. Ow, Peter.
Or how about my little boy voice? Hey, my name's Tony. I'm the voice of Tony in Plum the Super Witch. She's great. And also, this is the mother voice. I'm Dahlia, and Plum is my daughter. So there's how. Oh, and there is another one, Adventures of the Starkeepers. I am
Supreme Princess Tutu, and this is my most annoying voice.
My Lord. Does anyone that you've worked in the military think, where did this come from?
Well, Ash, let me tell you, this is Ollie the Octopus, and I just wanted to say that they didn't know it was coming, and they didn't think I was very talented at all.
Oh, wow. There were people that said, I don't think you can do this. You're not talented.
Oh, man. Well, a lot of them were like, there's no money in the entertainment industry.
Oh yeah, who was that? Who said that?
Just there's a couple people in my leadership that they're very, oh man, I would have to say that people that tell you no or tell you you can't do something, that they have their own issues that they're working out. And I don't want to say that they don't want to see people succeed, but I really feel like they don't want to see people succeed.
Well, maybe they just can't see the vision of it, of what it is.
Yeah, that too. And I mean, if you look at it coming from an analytical standpoint, they're right. I mean, out of everybody in the entertainment or who want to be a part of the entertainment industry, if you don't have the drive or, I would just say maybe if you just don't have the drive, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You have to hustle and you have to, listen to your gut and do what it is you need to do to be successful. And success doesn't mean famous or being a celebrity. You could be somebody that does, extra work, or you could do, there's a thing in voiceover.
Well, what's your definition of success in this industry now?
Oh, so success for me, I do actually have voiceover goals. Success for me would be, it's a money thing, making enough money to counter what I made in the government.
Okay.
So if I can make the amount of money that I made while I was in the government, for me, that is one part of the success. The other part is the reach. I don't want people to know my face. I want people to know my voice.
Wow.
And it's funny, and it brings...
It is funny, because I just want people to know my face.
I just want people to know my voice. I want to be like Nancy Cartwright and Debbie Derryberry and all those wonderful people, who are in the industry. And I want to be able to walk down the street, get a boba tea or a cup of coffee and not be bothered by anybody. I want to go to work. I want to see my other wonderful voiceover community friends, and I want to do my job and make people smile and make people laugh. And that's what I want to do. I want people to hear me and just smile and bring a little light and joy to their life.
Okay, well, I'm smiling today. I'm kind of the opposite. I just want to be bothered. I want to go to Boba Tea and be like, oh, there's Ash. Let's go bug him for a selfie. That's where I want to be.
Well, there's ways to do that. And when I was in the military, I went through certified ethical hacker training, and I studied social engineering. So there's ways that you can do that, and we can talk about it afterwards.
Great. I'm glad I did this podcast with you. Was there any point in your training where you thought, no, I can't do voiceover. This is crazy. Like, what am I doing?
Oh, no.
You believe in yourself, 100%.
Yeah. I mean,
you've always believed in yourself. You can do whatever you want.
I have, yeah.
Oh,
anything that I
no doubts.
Put my mind to, it can be scary sometimes, or a little intimidating, especially when you're around other people that have been in the business for a while. But what I love about voiceover is if your voice doesn't fit, they won't cast you. If your voice does fit, they will cast you. It's not, oh, you need to lose weight, or you need to fix your teeth, or you need to do this. It's, if your voice isn't right, you're not going to get it. If it is right, you're going to get it. And it's great, because I don't feel dejected at all when I don't get selected for an audition. And the audition is actually the work. I love getting in the booth every day and talking into my mic. I feel that's my work. I go and I audition and I do the best that I can, and it's fun for me. So, and then if I get selected, awesome. It is really strange though, because moving to LA, I've been getting selected for on-camera work, which is not something that I was even looking at doing. But I've been getting more on-camera work than I have. Well, it's about equal. It's equal parts on-camera and voiceover. So, I mean, I'm not complaining, and I'm not going to say no, because it's another form of revenue. But yeah, it's just been a very interesting journey since I've gotten here. It's
an incredible story, I think, because, you kind of showcase that you're not stuck in one area for the rest of your life, right? Like, you had this very long career in the military, and you could have done something else right after that is very much in that niche of analyst or something like that. But you chose something completely different at an older age. So it's very interesting to hear, like, you can do anything you want to in life if you put your mind to it. Did you read Napoleon Hill? Is that Think and Grow Rich kind of thing? No.
No.
Okay, you just where does this come from? Where you have such a strong belief in yourself?
I feel like right before I think it was 2 years before I retired from the military. I know this is a little esoteric, but you know, I I saw a medium, and
Oh, okay, yeah, we didn't. Okay, I didn't hear about this.
no, this is a little different. I saw a medium because, you know, after going through, you know, starting my therapy, there was one point where I had heard an external voice outside of my head, and I thought it was from PTSD. So it scared me. So I was going to a therapist, and I had seen a medium, and the medium was like, oh, it was, you know, someone from the other side telling you you're going to be okay. And then he started to tell me, you're going to do something with your voice, you're going to move to California, like he was telling me all these things, and I was like, I don't think so. I'm moving to Florida, and then I'm moving to Germany, which is what happened. But yeah, and now...
Did that influence you wanting to do it, or
no,
it didn't, because you were going to go on a completely different path?
Yeah.
I need to meet this medium. I need to see what's in store
great.
for me.
He's wonderful. I'll give you his info afterwards. But it was very odd. And then when I was in Germany, everything that he had said, every moment, everything that had happened to me in my life had prepared me for coming to California and doing what I'm doing right now. Every single thing, every good thing, every bad thing, every neutral thing, everything. And now I'm here. And when he said I was moving to California, I was like, oh, hell no. Sorry, California. I love California. But the taxes are very high.
Yeah.
I think gas is the highest in the whole nation.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not moving to California.
We pay for the weather.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, you know, now it's the beginning. Well, not the beginning. It's, you know, it's a continuation of, you know, the whole entertainment industry adventure.
Okay.
And
well, this is an inspirational, sometimes comedy podcast. It's hard to find the comedy sometimes. But what that one person that is thinking about quitting their jobs, or maybe they're retired and then like, I want to do a creative career, what advice do you have for them?
Oh, I would tell them, of course, I'm sure everybody on this podcast says,
Just go ahead and do it.
no, they should. They should do it, especially if they're retired from the military. What have you got to lose? Can I look at the camera? You have nothing to lose. Nothing. You have a retirement. If you have disability, you get that. If you have medical and dental, you're fine. Just do it.
Yeah,
and
that's probably an easier thing to do. What if someone doesn't have all that?
If you don't have all that, go with your gut. If your gut says to do it, everything will align to make you successful. If you're meant to do something, it's going to happen regardless. It really will. And if you're not meant for it, it's going to show you, life will show you where you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just coming from my own experiences, because, I mean, isn't it interesting that I wore, sorry guys with my bracelets, isn't it interesting that I met you at an Emmys party, I was wearing a sari, you noticed it, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Everything is aligning, everything is happening for a reason.
I think so.
And I'm not going to say no, I'm going to be like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have anything else you want to say? Do you want to talk about your production company, or what are you getting into besides voiceover?
Oh,
any other things you want to say? Final thoughts?
Let's see. Outside of voiceover, on-screen acting, you know, I'm actually belly dancing at the Autumn Equinox Festival in Burbank this Friday, so that's cool.
Okay. I gotta see that. Yeah.
So I'm getting into management, personal management for other creatives. And
What type of management? Art,
just personal.
Singers or
Anything. Personal management for models, for other voiceover people, for actors. Basically, and
that's a lot of work.
Oh,
and you want to do that and
is.
voiceover and
oh yeah. Well, I don't have very many clients, so
Okay.
yeah, it's just people that, you know. And
do you have to pick up the phone and pitch people?
no,
Oh.
People are coming to me and asking if I can rep them.
No. Once you are repping them, do you have to pick up the phone
and pitch them?
to casting directors and stuff and be like, hey, you should see my client?
It's kind of weird. The ones that are in acting, I've been meeting casting directors at the craziest places, like coffee shops here or on LinkedIn, and they'll reach out to me, or I'll see a post from them and I'll say something to them, and then we start a dialogue. I mean, I met a voiceover person from calling the cops last night, and one of the police officers knew another voiceover person and connected me with them. It's very strange the way this town works.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting that you wanted to do management as well on top of everything, because that's a full-time job in itself, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I do personal management. And it's an open end. All of my contracts are non-exclusive. So if they end up getting an agent, you know, this is basically like the beginnings of, just to kind of get them set up, and then they'll move on.
I'm curious, what interested you in that field?
Oh, man. Well, when I first moved here, I wrote a spy comedy with a screenwriter from the UK. And she came over and we did, you know, all this prep work for the series. And one of our other friends, she was from the UK as well. We all kind of lived together when I first moved here. It's like the first 6 months I was here. And the other one, her name is Akira. She's also a voiceover actor and an on-screen actor. But she wanted to do a lot of work in the US, but she didn't have a visa. So with my company, I was able to sponsor her visa. And with sponsoring her visa, instead of being, you know, because in California you need to be licensed to be an agent. So I just did personal management, and that's kind of how it started. And then other people were like, "Oh, you do personal management? What is that all involved?" And I'm like, "I just, you know, try to get you gigs, and if you need some training, especially for voiceover, I just teach you whatever it is that I know, or I hook you up with a coach, and, you know, see how many jobs we can get you."
Very cool. Very cool. So your production company, Crystal J Productions, or tell me what it is.
Yes, it's Crystal J. Right now it's Crystal J Productions, but I will be rebranding next year to something cooler that I'll tell you whenever I do. I don't want anyone taking my name.
Okay, well, you know, I think you have other skills that you can prevent people from doing things, right?
Oh, we won't talk about that.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm going to be very careful around you.
No, you're fine. Yeah, so, I mean, it's been a wonderful experience, and as far as like closing remarks, you know, I'm really grateful to have met you, and thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, well, I'm very grateful that you drove all the way to downtown LA and parked here. That's quite a journey.
Thank you. It wasn't that bad today,
Okay.
really. It's I don't know when you're going to air this, but it's a Sunday.
Yeah, it's a Sunday. Probably in 6 weeks, six to 8 weeks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's wrapping up this episode, and I always want to say, don't underestimate what you can do in life. I believe in you. Crystal Lee believes in you.
I do.
And you should believe in yourself. You can do anything you want to.